Yeah, so it's LBC that started 50 years ago today. David Jessel was the guy who presented the morning show from 6 to 9, and then at 9 o'clock there was a show that started called 2 in the Morning, and the two were Paul Callan and Janet Street Porter.
Yeah, she's still going strong.
She's still going strong, yeah.
And it's an interesting point, all this. Coming back to the panel now, Suze. I used to really like commercial radio when I was a kid because it just felt... I didn't like to hear... I heard people that sounded like me for the first time.
Yes, not necessarily the received pronunciation kind of presentation
English
style.
And all that.
Yes, the BBC was a bit posh, wasn't it, in those days?
But also, I think commercial radio now must have a huge opportunity again because the BBC have obviously rolled back so much now on their local radio programming. They're closing down so many different kind of aspects of that actually maybe there's more opportunity for commercial radio than there ever was.
Yeah.
And also, how good for us to see somebody like him who 78 still broadcasting.
Yes.
Because why not?
Absolutely.
He got every link in. He knew that we would be talking about curry. He knew how to kind of get all the things. There's nothing wrong with his skills or his voice, as you say. And I do think a lot of places do kind of come away from that and get rid of people far too early. When actually
that's a great point. And boom, it's a bit like going back to the cash thing. It's like there's a huge market of older people that appreciate stuff direct, and they don't want to listen to rap music. They want stuff that delivers for them. Boom's filled a slot. GBNEWS has filled a slot. That's being cool, quick and nimble. I'm all for it.
And especially the BBC forgets who its audience is in large part. Like, the people who are listening to radio in real time, the people who are watching broadcast television, skews heavily older because of the fact that, as we all know. But you would think, in terms of the programming, in terms of some of the people they're selecting sometimes, that everyone is a 21-year-old, overgrown student, effectively, and that's how they're accessing. There's loads of people.
But they've got it so wrong, actually, because your 21-year-old overgrown students aren't listening to ordinary old-fashioned radio.
They're on YouTube.
They're watching on their devices.
And they're not the
they know what they
want.
want.
Advertising to either, because they're not the people spending the money in the areas that necessarily your advertisers want to spend it.
Let's hear it for the oldies.
Dear Anne and Martin, says Sula. She says, we started listening to Capital Radio back in the 1970s when we were kids. Graham Dean was on breakfast. We loved Roger Scott, who single-handedly brought Bruce Springsteen over to the UK. Nicky Horn was great too, and loved that they played album tracks throughout the day. As a matter of course, it used to be a great radio station.
That's the point, because it wasn't just the singles. You got the stuff that they liked around it, and you got...
That was funny what he said about a radio station being sponsored by somebody who had a butcher's shop. Didn't Jasper Carrot have a whole routine at one point about local radio? On one of his things, we use it all the time. It's like an in-joke in our house that one of the adverts was, because it was so parochial and local, was "Come to our dad for your chops," which is like a real local radio thing. And we say that all the time when something's kind of like a bit very, very parochial or local. We do it all that. "Come to our dad for your chops."
Superb. Okay, Suze,
I think we do that too. We've got a lot of adverts that tell you to go down to somewhere in Wales, and I'm always asked wherever I go, why do we have so many Welsh adverts? I don't know.
Because they love us in the valleys. That's why. Anyway,
Should we find out what's going on weather-wise for you?